Good evening and welcome to a Chaotic Neutral Games Halloweek special. It's a Saturday. We don't usually do a Saturday, but hey, it's coming up to Halloween, so you're being treated. My name's Helen. I am your keeper for the evening, and tonight we are running a Call of Cthulhu one-shot called The Longest Night. May I ask you all to introduce yourselves? I'm going to go to my... Is it my right or left? Anyway, Ed, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your character.
I'm playing Alex Porter, who is a TV runner, does the odd jobs around production, and enjoys in his spare time beating people up.
Nice. Simon.
I'm playing Harry Cohn, the local photographer. Photographer and camera operator for TV shows.
Camera operator for TV shows. Spider.
I am Thea. I'm one of the shepherds. I got sheep.
Nice. And Dave.
Tonight I'll be playing Professor Eric Davenport, local historian who likes to merge ancient historical techniques with more modern day fact-finding equipment. And you can refer to me as the operator.
I'm just noting that, the operator. And finally, Tom.
This evening I'm playing Martin Woodwell, Professor of Astronomy. Fan of the stars.
So, first of all, maybe I should set the scene. So, it is Wednesday, the 21st of December. It is the Winter Solstice, and therefore it is the longest night. In a production company called Red Dawn TV Production Companies have spent the last 3 years planning and getting funding for a BBC Two special, a live broadcast which encompasses studio segments and also a live broadcast from Avebury Henge, the largest stone circle in Europe. It's been a long day so far. The crew first arrived at the site on the weekend and started putting up stuff within the buildings, but they've only been allowed onto the henge itself today. So the crew have been up since about 4 o'clock in the morning, trying to get the lighting rig sorted, getting the camera rig sorted, doing all the electricals and the sounds. There are a certain number of places that you should be aware of, and I realise you cannot see any of the maps. That's not helpful. I will sort that in a minute. So, in Avebury Henge, and maybe if I just change the thing behind me, it might be easier. There is. So, there are effectively 2 stone circles. There's a north circle and a south circle. And then from there is also an avenue. And I cannot find that either. That's really useful, Helen. I will find a map in a minute. There is a pub just about within the stone circle as well. And then further down, there is a museum and a church. And next to the museum is the cafe, which is where all the catering's been done out of from, and also a shop. So the whole village of Avebury sort of cuts through the stones in some way, quite a lot, in fact. So there's lots of activity all over the place. For the broadcast, they have arranged some experts in the studio and also some experts on site at Avebury. They are focusing on 4 main areas. So astronomy to celebrate the Winter Solstice. They're looking at a historical reenactment of what might have happened at a Neolithic site around 3,000 years ago, or 2000 BC. They're looking at sort of natural history of the area, and also they have planning some segments on occult beliefs to tie in with the winter solstice and the beliefs of that. To that end, they have some experts. They have a group of people who've been brought in specially for historical reenactment purposes. And they've also had the chance to do some filming prior to cover some of the natural history of the area. So that is the setting. It is now 6 p.m. The broadcast goes live from 8 p.m. And there is a massive problem. In the museum, the producers are holding a war room to try and sort out what is going on. Present is the site manager, who is responsible for the henge and all the buildings, the producer, the director of photography, the sound engineers, camera operators, runners, and also they've the experts, so the local historian expert, Professor Eric Davenport, and the astronomy professor, Martin Woodwell, are also present within the meeting. And the producer starts and says, what do you mean we cannot get contact back to the main studio? Are you saying that none of the live stream is going to be working? There's a sort of grumbling from the rest of the crew, and they basically point out, yes, they've failed to be able to get hold of either get into the studio or get any information out of the studio for the last 2 hours, and they cannot work out why. Everything else seems to be working, like they seem to have some sort of connection to the internet. It's a bit dicey in places, especially, in the open air, but, they can't quite work out why it's happened. The site manager is not very happy because the crew have moved things to where they weren't agreed to move to. And so the site manager is already pissed off and has already asked them to move stuff. She was also pissed off with the historical reenactment players because they went over places that hadn't been designated. Earlier in the day, she'd had to ask and they'd had to rearrange.
If you've ever done any production, the site manager's in a constant state of pissed off anyway. Don't take it to heart.
So then you also hear that some of the historical reenactment actors have actually gone missing over the course of the day. The person who's been responsible for them has been pulling in locals here and there, but has been struggling and just doesn't know where these people have gone. Also, a couple of the experts have disappeared, including the person who's meant to be doing the natural history, and also the person who is talking about sort of modern day paganism. They've disappeared over the course of the day as well. And they've not been able to find them. So the producer looks at you guys and basically says, okay, I really need your help. We need to be able to go live at 8 p.m. I need you guys to try and work out what's going on and then try and fix it. Okay? I know I can let Alex go because we've got another runner who can do stuff. Harry, you're roving camera operator anyway, so you can maybe, take your camera with you and see if you can connect anywhere. Experts, the professors, if you don't mind just sort of accompanying them and seeing if you can help them in any way, I'd be most appreciative. Is that okay? Literally have no idea what's going on. I know we need to go live at 8.
I'm happy to drive if it helps.
Say again?
I'm happy to drive if it helps.
Sorry. Mike is playing them. Sorry. So in the meantime, the site manager has asked Thea to join you, because Thea is aware of the stones, aware of where you should and should not be going, and has good knowledge of the local area. So she introduces Thea to the rest of you and says, basically, you only go where she tells you. You don't go anywhere else. Please do not desecrate anything, damage anything, or move things where they're not allowed to be. Right, off you go. And the producer sort of smiles and goes, yeah, please, if you don't mind. So now I've got my mic back, I can try and give you some things. So, Thea, you know a little bit about the area. What can you tell the others?
I can tell them. Yeah, you've got a couple of places around. We've got obviously the two henges, got the north and south one, roughly. There's the pub. It's haunted apparently. There's a couple of things. What are you looking for?
Anywhere where a group of people might just go for a wander, really. Sounds like the pub might be a good place to check if no one's.
The darkest places.
The darkest.
Do you think you're being a bit dramatic, Eric? Maybe.
No, they are the most likely places that people will have disappeared.
Yeah, fair.
I often get lost in the pub.
Yeah, I'm thinking if a big group of people are going to go missing, including two, as you said, experts, it might be worth checking the pub. Seems likely.
I mean, if you want darkest places, we're in the middle of nowhere, so yeah, there's many places we could look after that. There's some walks, but this way to the pub.
Thanks. Martin puts his hand and goes, Martin, by the way.
Yeah, Thea. She just nods her head at you.
Pleasure. He'll follow whichever direction the pub is.
As Thea starts walking, I'm going to be just doing a walking shot of the shepherd in her gear and all the rest of it, walking towards the pub, just so that if I need to, I can cut it in at some point.
Very nice. So on the stream, I hope you should be able to see the outline of the henge. As you can see, I've labelled all the places. So there's the pub, the car park, the big car park, the shop, the museum, and the cafe. Can you all see that now?
Yes.
Yeah. So you started off in the museum. That's where the war rooms were, and now you're sort of walking into the village itself towards the pub. So there are roads that go through. They have been closed off for the evening. Further back, are being sort of held by stewards to make sure that no other people are coming along. So all the roads are open and safe. And as you walk through, you can see, various locals are sort of around. There's a few historical reenactment people in sort of slightly dodgy Neolithic. Is it caveman? Is it Neolithic sort of clothes? Yes. So there's quite a few sort of people mingling around. It's just about... it's been sort of sunset for 2 hours, so it is getting quite dark, but there are sort of various lights up from the production crew, so you have got a reasonable sort of clarity of stuff around the stones, the pub. All of those areas have been well lit, so you can see quite clearly. As you go further out, it will get darker.
I've got my torch as well. the 50,000 lumen torch, which is near enough like a car headlight. So just anywhere there is darkness, he's just kind of looking for anyone skiving.
Nice. So you're heading to the pub first?
Are we all heading to the pub?
Seems to be what people have decided, yes.
Okay, so...
I mean, you don't have
go
to
there
follow.
first.
Go on.
What'd you say, Simon?
Yeah, I suppose we go there first.
Yeah, it works for me. Is the pub open, or have we kind of commandeered the pub?
It's commandeered, but it is open, so they are serving. The production team had to agree to allow the locals to carry on drinking whilst they were there, including during today. So some locals have been in the pub for most of the day, as far as you're concerned. And certainly in terms of the day, the two professors have been in and out of the pub for sort of a pint and a bite to eat. It's, the historical reenactment actors have been sort of mainly based at the pub, sort of for setting up purposes, although they've been getting changed elsewhere. Like the food for catering for the crew and stuff has been done in the cafe. Like I say, the production has basically taken over the museum for interviews inside and for war room purposes. And then there's lots of equipment around the stones themselves, particularly focusing on the cove, on the ring stone. Let me change this back over so you can see it. So, particularly focusing on the cove, the ring stone, the barber surgeon stone, and the devil's chair. But there are lights all around the henge. So, the crew have spent quite a long time trying to get the lights in the correct place so that get great views on the cameras. So the crew who are out on the field are very disgruntled that they're not able to connect to the studio in London to actually do any of this broadcast. And they're worried that it will all just be studio based with nothing from here live, just a few videos that you've done during the week. So you enter the pub. It's busy. It's like jam-packed busy. There's definitely a locals versus anyone else sort of segmentation in the pub. All the locals have all the seats and are at the bar. Everyone else is sort of milling or sort of more pushed into corner areas where, they are basically just waiting for the get-go to go and do the next stuff. So, anything particular you're looking for in the pub? Who would you like to talk to?
Are any of the missing people here? Worth checking.
Yeah. How are you going to find out?
Are any of you missing?
Excuse me, love. I think you'll find we're all here. I don't quite know what you're expecting.
Is this where you're supposed to be?
Well, yeah. This is my pub. I am the bar lady. So, yes.
I was talking mostly to the crowd. I don't expect you to be in the wrong place right now.
Right. I don't think they're actually listening to you. Yeah, pretty sure nobody else is listening to you. Just me. Would you like a drink?
I shall start going around asking each person individually.
And you're asking them
if they're supposed to be anywhere else. Starting with the people who aren't local, because they're less likely to be the people that are missing.
Right. Okay. So
I'm being thorough and making sure that it's not just they're all in the pub.
So do you even know who's missing?
No, I'm just going to go around and ask.
Right.
I was going to ask, can we get a phone signal?
Are you supposed to be somewhere else right now?
You can get some phone signal, but it keeps coming in and out. So sometimes it connects and then sometimes it drops. The locals seem to have a better connection somehow. You're not sure why.
I just want to ring back to the director, and I'm just going to ask him for a list of names of any of the people from the reenactment that are missing, and I'm literally just going to kind of try and get the attention of the room and just say, if is anyone aware of any of the folks missing that I read out? We're just trying to get hold of them because we're expecting a reenactment to start, and I'm not sure if any of you, if you know where your colleagues are, if you could just give us a shout. The people we're looking for are, and then if I can get a signal, I'm just going to rattle them off in a list.
As you try and connect to the director, Alex will point out that as the runner, he's got lists of everything in their clipboard. So yes, that is literally your job. You are the holder of all information and do it of all duties, including photocopying, everything.
Everything here happens because of you. The rest of us are just kind of wandering around and trying to look busy. You actually are busy.
But yeah, so good call. The director hands you over to the person in charge of the historical actors, and they give off like 10 names. You ask, and no one has seen these 10 names since, well, most of the people that you ask seem to say they last definitely saw them about lunchtime, or maybe before lunchtime. Definitely before the second rehearsal.
When was the second rehearsal scheduled for?
So the second rehearsal was scheduled for 10 a.m.
So before then? Or 10 a.m.?
Yes.
Do we know
how can we get somebody to tell us an exact time or an approximate exact time that they saw someone?
Yeah. So right. So
approximate exact time.
Yeah. Within 20 minutes or so. Yeah.
As close as we can get.
So one person sort of is like, well, right. So Bert's. I definitely did see him at the second rehearsal at 10 a.m. Now I think about it. He wasn't at the one at 2 p.m. And I didn't see him at lunchtime, and he likes his lunch. Now he might have come here to the pub, but I doubt he would have, because the locals have been quite aggro towards us most of the day.
Was there a scheduled lunch break on the...
yeah, so...
Because I assume they would want everybody working at the same time, so everybody would take lunch at the same time.
Well, so we were told, I don't know why I'm going to that actually. We were told that we did the first rehearsal at 8 a.m. Then basically the next one was at 10 a.m. Then the site manager kicked off, and we had to change where we did it and the layout and everything else. So that took about, the guys who were in charge of where we go and stuff, that took them about 3 hours to sort out. And then we had an hour in the museum in one of the back rooms going through where we would go. I didn't see him there actually, now I think about it. But they drafted in one of the locals at that point. In fact, they drafted in a few locals. Oh, that was about 1 p.m.
1 p.m. exactly?
Well, lunch was 12, and the next rehearsal was scheduled for 2. So yes, I guess about 1, around that sort of time. So definitely gone missing before that.
Do you happen to have a picture of him at all? I know it's unlikely.
No.
Or any of the missing. Just get your attention a second. Does anyone happen to be friends with anyone who's not turned up so far and happens to have a picture?
There's a bit of sort of murmuring, and they're all basically we're not allowed phones. We weren't allowed phones from lunchtime onwards. So all of their gear basically has been stashed elsewhere. They're all in their costumes. With big coats to keep them warm, but all electrical devices have been safely stashed elsewhere. You might the person who's in charge might have photos, but And basically, you know, as you sort of listen to the group, it seems that more than 10 people have gone missing. They're sort of talking about 15, maybe 20 people seem to have disappeared over the course of the day. But it's a big group. There's about 100 actors in total, so they're not entirely sure whether they've gone off to do something special or anything else.
I do apologise. The driver's just crashed on a headset, so I've just lost about 25 seconds of the beginning of what was said. I heard that there was 15 people missing, or 15 plus.
Yeah, but there's about 100 actors.
So no one was worrying because they had enough until now.
Probably didn't even notice.
Yeah, and some people thought maybe they were doing something special. There was talk of, you know, they were going to use a smaller group of people for some sort of more focused stuff around the cove and around the ringstone as well.
This argument that occurred earlier. Where were you where was it that it happened?
Argument?
The disagreement on whether you were supposed to have been there. You said they got moved to another location. The director was kicking off.
Oh, site manager.
Site manager, sorry.
Well, no, none of us heard it. That's what was relayed to us about why we had to suddenly change what we'd practiced for the last, 2 months. I mean, we're all professionals, so, you know, a whiteboard and an hour, and we're all in step again. Like, the rehearsal at 2 was like smooth as hell, really. We've not been able to do the 6 o'clock rehearsal though, which is like meant to be the main dress rehearsal for like all the camera work. Something's stopping. They said that they're not quite ready for us, but so we're just sort of lingering here. And you can see lots of the locals are really glaring at the actors at this point. They're very unhappy with the invasion of these people.
The dress rehearsals, are they on site? Are they full stage rehearsals, or are they?
Oh yeah, on the sites, yeah. So the 10, all of them have been on the main site. That's, I think, why the site manager was upset in the morning, because apparently it was something like we were in the wrong place on the henge.
Would you know? Was there a name for the place on the henge, a specific stone or something, or was it just...
No idea. I'm afraid you'll have to find, I don't know, either the site manager or whoever's in charge of us lot.
Not a problem at all. I'm sure we can find someone. We'll find someone.
Any of you interested in the ghost? Many ghosts here. Most haunted pub in Britain at one point.
I'd be interested in getting a good shot of where the ghost has been seen, if that's all right.
Oh yeah, right.
Get the UV and the IR up and running, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That being.
Oh, sorry. For this kind of thing, we got like a camera that looks at heat, and a camera that looks at, well, anything that kind of absorbs sunlight.
Oh right. Yeah. Well, that's fine. Maybe like once this lot have sort of gone to do what they're meant to be doing, I thought they'd be out by now, to be honest. Yeah, come back later and it's all yours. I've got basement, I've got the well, I've got the main, like all over the shop. Ghosts all over the place here.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah, we'll get some ghosts for us then. Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm moonlighting most haunted.
No, that's fair enough.
Yeah. Wherever I can get. Yeah.
There's a story about the brass lion over there. Is another good one if you want to get that one. Sure, should be able to tell you all about it.
Well, it's all paid for me, you see. So yeah. That's fine.
It's fair.
Alex, you've been going through all of your mass of production notes. So
probably for the first time since I started working.
Yeah, I mean, you've just literally been given paper after paper after paper, which you've just been putting in the clipboard until somebody asks you for it. So you have got sort of the broad workout of the day in terms of, the crew started setting up at 4 a.m. They opened all of the places, like the museum, the breakfast place, the pub, all opened at 6 a.m. You know that the historical reenactment, it was intended to be within the main north circle, north of the cove. That's where, you know, flicking back through your production notes, that's where it was intended to go. As the site manager came and changed it, but you haven't got any record of why or exactly where, although you have got some notes from some of the crew who have like, you know, we've lost this cable, you know, this camera was broken and it sort of rolled over. And as far as you can see, they've moved the reenactment south into the cove and then further south down towards the south circle where the barber surgeon stone, the devil's chair and the ring stone is. So they've definitely moved it much more south than was initially intended at the behest of the site manager.
As I'm reading this information, I've stolen someone's bar stool as they go to the toilet, and I steal their pint as well.
Right. Interesting. Thea, you moved your sheep out of the way over the last couple of days, although you've had a few spare ones. You know that all the locals are very pissed off, and you're also aware that the historical reenactment people have been quite arrogant about, you know, taking charge and doing things in a certain way. You've been watching them over the past few, you know, past sort of hours, seeing what they're up to. And you definitely have noticed that they've moved sort of to encompass the cove and to encompass the ringstone in their reenactments now. Right. So, as the local comes back from the toilet, I think you find that's my stool. And that was my pint. Oi!
I'm going to ignore. Keep reading.
Excuse me. He physically pushes you off the stool.
I dodged.
You may dodge. Please roll.
I rolled 11, which is 53.
You rolled 11, which is under 53. Yeah, you dodge. Not only do you dodge, you manage to hold on to your clipboard and papers, and the pint doesn't spill.
We're still going to be invited back. We really are.
I don't know what you're
going.
playing at. I suggest you leave here. You see more glares from the locals as it's gone suspiciously quiet over in the local areas. The historical reenactors are still chatting away, but there's quite a lot of eyes on you now as you hold your bar stool and your pint. Well, his pint.
Okay.
Do I
get up?
Oh.
I'm not going to relinquish the pint.
Just got my eye on you. Expect a pint in return at least. Otherwise,
Hang on, I've got my hands full. Could you turn this page, please? Sit the pint.
He sort of turns the page for you and then goes,
Thanks.
Right, yeah, out, on. And he calls over to the barkeep and she's like, please don't cause trouble. I suggest you leave before you stir this lot up. Every one of the locals seems to have like taken in your face and are seriously silently glaring at you. In fact, all of you now, as they realise that you are all together.
I'm also glaring.
Indeed.
At them, not the locals.
Yes.
I was just going to pick one random guy in the crowd and not blink at him for 5 minutes.
You hear a, "Oh, come on, Eric," and then sort of like, see, she gets it.
Mm.
As this is going on, I'm just going to kind of surreptitiously just fold a 20 in my hand and just hand it to the one behind the back. Go, just when we've left, I'll get him out. Just we're not. Well, you get the point. And then Martin's going to start wondering out. Just go, Alex, have you got the list?
I've got many lists.
I think we I don't think they're here, are they?
I have no idea what they look like, so I don't know, but probably not.
Have we got headshots for any of the actors?
Hang on, let me see. Can I look up is there a promotional site or a site for the actors? I probably have like some of that information.
It's a historical reenactment site, so quite a lot of them are volunteers. The person who has all the pictures is the person who's in charge of them, who currently is in the war room with the producer, trying to work out what the hell they're going to do.
Oh, I'll hand that over to the professor. Well, that guy is this number. He definitely has the photos because he's apparently in charge.
If it's not a problem for anyone, I'm just going to wander back and see if I can get any pictures of him. Anyone want to join me? Works for me. He's going to fumble for his car keys. He's going to head out. Martin's going to wander back to the war room.
I'm still holding the pint glass.
I'm gonna go over to Thea and I'm gonna say, we know this place better than the rest, and you probably know all the places where little lost lambs get lost all the time. I think we are the best. We're the best team for sorting this out, don't you think?
Yeah, we should just get this over with quicker, get them gone as soon as possible.
I'm gonna suggest that the cameraman come with us. I'm sure he'll get some footage that will make his day.
Is that a promise?
I'm trying to do this with a straight face.
Not going to happen. Best of luck to you.
I'm trying not to react to it, to be honest. It's quite difficult.
Indeed.
Seriously, because at the moment I'm not seeing myself getting much in the way of pay for this. Bunch of lost people who got lost around the countryside isn't exactly going to be getting me much in the way of pay now, is it?
Let's find him then, I guess.
I know a couple of places that...
Suppose I can get some scenic shots or something like that. I don't know. Maybe set it off to Lost the Summer Wine or some shit. I don't know.
The deep cuts. I like it. Yeah,
Hello.
Martin's going to leave at that point.
Yeah. Hello.
Where would the best places be as someone that does not know this place at all?
So, what you were told is that I think probably the key information from that pub was that the historical reenactment actors were moved from above the cove. Let me get that back up for you. So from above the cove, so on the north of it, down towards the south. So there was a group around the cove, they said, and then the rest of the actors have been moved down towards the Barber Surgeon Stone, the Devil's Chair, and the Ring Stone. So I would probably suggest maybe looking around the Henge might be the best place to start at the moment.
Yes.
That's
will
what you know.
suggest that.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So you go outside, you move from the pub, And literally the cove is pretty much opposite the pub. So you can't go outside, cross the road, go through the gate, and then you are at the cove. So the cove is it's two stones that are sort of opposite each other, like that. And it looks something, I'm going to just go big, I think, because that might be easier. So it looks like those. So they're two big stones. They've been associated with a few things over the years. Some call them the Adam and the Eve, the Adam being the big stone, I don't know why, and the Eve being the smaller one. But they are the oldest stones on the site. They were the stones that were sighted here first, as far as anyone is aware. So they are big and substantial and meaningful in terms of it's the original stones of the site. I realise there's a little bit of delay getting up.
Lead on experts. I mean, I got tons of film here. Well, actually, no film anymore. We don't use film anymore. More's a pity. It was more of an art form back then. Get a wriggle on.
Yeah, a wriggle on.
Okay. So you arrive at the cove. You see the two big stones. What would you like to do? It's all, like I say, it's all quite brightly lit because they've got all the lights up. There are camera operators around. There's still a lot of sort of discussion about how nothing is connecting properly. And, you know, you can see monitors where it looks like they should be filming the stones, but nothing's coming up on the screen at the moment, which is also causing consternation.
Thea's just kind of herding her new sheep around, hoping the others don't get themselves into trouble. Well, more trouble than they already got themselves in.
Start recording a country watch.
Pretty much.
I'm going to walk around the stones and then in between them and then around them again.
Okay. Tell me, what is your guys' power?
I will tell you as soon as I open the correct
Who?
file.
Your
Who's
power's...
Pat?
Hey?
Who are you referring that to?
You three. So...
65 for me.
So 65 for Harry. What's Eric's?
70.
And what's Thee's?
70.
So... as you start going around, or, you know, as you start approaching the stones, and then as you sort of go between them, you get a very sort of prickly sense on the back of your neck. You know, something cool here. Is there a shiver in the air? Is there just something seems a bit off? And as you walk further away from them, it sort of goes. But when you walk back in towards them, you feel it again. It's that sort of shudder. Whew.
Is there anything unusual happening right now, like birds flocking in the sky in an unusual pattern, or wildlife moving around on the floor?
No, in fact, it's incredibly quiet. It is now dark. The sun set at 4 o'clock. So it is getting darker. It is very quiet. No birds. Not so unsurprising. Thea, you can't even hear your sheep. And usually you can hear your sheep. You're very tuned to them. It's a very silent landscape at the moment. The only thing that really is making noise are all the humans and the equipment that's being clattered around, and, you know, people getting slightly angry with each other because nothing seems to be working properly.
Quite peaceful, isn't it?
It's not normally this peaceful. Now, who are the people we're looking for again?
Some of the reenactment crew that have gone missing. I just thought maybe, sheep probably go missing and you probably have to find them.
Yes.
You might know hidey spots and places people could fall into and get stuck. Apparently they don't have any phones, so they couldn't call for help if they wanted to.
They could always scream, but sounds like not much is making a noise tonight.
No, very quiet.
Very, very quiet. All right. With my knowledge of the area, where would the best place to hide be, Helen, with my long-term memory stuff?
I'm not going to prompt you too much, but is there anything else you'd like to do around the stones that have given you a slightly strange feeling? Maybe.
I'm going to touch the stones.
You're going to touch the stones. Okay, interesting.
Touch them all up.
You're touching the stones.
I'm touching the hard stone.
Can you therefore roll me a spot hidden, please?
This will not go well.
Can I also look around?
Please do. Roll whatever you think. You can either listen, spot hidden.
I got a 24.
24. What's your?
It's 30.
Oh, very good.
Yes.
So
I got a 44 for listen, which is a success.
Okay. So as you are touching up the stones, they are cool and hard and rough.
The way I like it.
You touch him back.
But there's some moisture in places on the stones. And then there's something more sticky. And as you take your hand away, you can see possibly blood.
Blood.
Thea, you're listening. You can sort of tune out some of the human sounds, certainly some of the newer stuff. You really can't hear your sheep, and they're not that far away. And they're not usually that quiet. But you think, it sounds like a scream, a human scream. Somewhere near.
Do I know which direction?
It's definitely coming from the sort of south of where you are. So coming from the area of where the Devil's Chair and the Barber Surgeon Stone is.
I just start going towards it, quickly walking and just screaming this way.
Harry goes, "Oh, lovely," and starts running after you.
I told you there'd be something to see.
Is this in the direction of where I normally leave my sheep?
Yeah. I mean, the sheep roam all over the henge, literally all over the henge. They can go anywhere. They are the grass cutters.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not unusual for you to take the southeast exit out. It's wider. It was widened in the past to allow coaches to get in because there's a very sharp corner on the road. And then it actually leads out onto sort of the pastures that you use more often. So yeah, you definitely know this area. You know which way your sheep go.
The stone was bleeding, by the way.
That's not a good sign. Are you
I'm
sure your
freaking
hand
bleeding
wasn't
and you
cut?
didn't tell me. Bloody hell.
Oh, my bloody hand.
Right. Hang on a second. Right. From the top. Right. Okay.
There's someone to save. That is important.
And he starts videoing you saying exactly the same thing, saying, that the stone was bleeding and holding him.
But we do have to save someone. It is important.
Can I, whilst we're walking, can I have a look to see if his hand is cut?
Yeah. Is your hand cut, Eric?
I don't think so.
No, it definitely seems
I didn't
smeared.
notice it if it
Yeah.
was cut.
It's definitely a smear of blood on his fingers. You can't see any wound.
Oh, how
Give
old is the
me-
blood?
That's what I was just about to say. Give me a
It was sticky a few minutes ago.
give me a
I
I
can
don't
go
mind
back and
either
get
a
more if you want.
natural world roll or anything else or animal handling, either or. You're not.
Is there a pattern in the blood on my hand?
I did not. I did not succeed.
Okay. No,
Helen,
it's just a smear of blood.
Is there no naturally forming pattern of interest?
No.
Fingerprint, Dave.
What you notice is that it's not drying very quickly at all. It's still sticky.
That might come in handy later.
Yeah. As you move south, we're going to cut back over to the museum where Martin and Alex have arrived.
On the wonder there,
Yeah.
I wanted to go and check the cars of the other professors, see if they were still there.
Sorry, check the cars of.
The other two professors, just check if the cars are still there. They've not buggered off.
Okay, the car park is like way outside the henge. It's on the other side of.
If it's not on the way, then it'll be the next thing that
it's
I'll
sort
end
of
up doing.
further outside. There is a smaller car park, but literally all the local. It's got all the crew stuff, and various locals have like put signs up to stop people parking there. You really do get the feeling that the locals are not happy about what is happening here. So you would have wandered up the street past the shop, which is open. There's volunteers in there. It's a community shop, so they've been staying open basically all day and all night to cater for whoever's around. So if you need a Mars bar, that's your place.
Alex, do you want a cornet?
Specific.
Yeah.
He's just going to go in and get
If you're
two
buying.
cornetos. Yeah. He's going to pop into the shop and just he's going to grab two cornetos out of the freezer, and he's just going to quickly chat with whoever's behind the counter.
Hello. Oh,
Hello there.
Are you with the crew?
Yes, yeah. Me and my friend outside, we're hoping to be broadcasting.
Yeah, it's very
I
exciting.
think so.
That would be £3, please.
Yeah, right. He just fumbles through for the change in his jacket pocket and pays cash. How's the business been today with everything going on?
Oh, quite brisk. I don't know if there was a problem with catering, but we had quite a rush of sort of actors around about, I don't know, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. Quite a few people came in for extra snacks, something about catering not being up to scratch.
There's a big change in schedule. I think the lunches all got a bit mixed around by the sound.
Oh, right, yeah, maybe. I've only been here since, about midday, I guess. So, yeah, but it's very exciting. Lots of people around. I sort of, I hope I can get away in time to see what happens when it's actually live broadcast. Really excited. I know we're not allowed like anywhere too near, but I've been told that the locals can be like, near-ish, and we can watch and they might film us.
Yeah, one of the cameramen, Harry, he You'll likely be doing some shots of the area. So you kind of keep yourself to the middle and keep yourself under the lights. That's usually where I'll be taking his shots if you want to get on.
Oh, that's great.
I might be popping back in a minute. We're trying to find some of the actors. We think there's been a mix-up and they've ended up in the wrong location.
Oh,
I'm just going to grab some pictures. If I was to pop back, would you be able to tell me if any of them came in?
yeah, like I say, I've only been here since midday.
Yeah,
Mavis
fine.
was here earlier, but she's gone for a cuppa.
Just the ones from that lunch rush.
Yeah,
Because if
sure.
that's the group, we might be able to find out where they've headed off to.
Sure. That's fine.
I'll probably see you in a few minutes then.
I'll see you in a bit. Yeah.
Martin's going to wander out and just mention this to Alex. Just be like, apparently there was a bit of a rush of actors. So if we grab them pictures, I'm going to wander back. You're welcome to join me. Or
Yeah.
Are you
So he's
saying
gonna-
this within earshot of Harry?
we went separate.
Yeah,
Oh, you're
you're
separate,
in
okay, yeah.
completely
We
two
went
different
westward.
locations.
So yeah, we'll head to the
Museum.
the war room and
Yeah. The war room is even tenser than when you left it. The site manager's not anywhere to be seen. The producer and director are just tearing their hair out, trying to get a signal on their phones, on the computers, anything to try and get in contact with the studio and you know the producer there. And they're just, every time they sort of seem to connect, they end up cut off. So there's a lot of unhappiness in the war room at the moment.
Can I quickly test something on just any laptop or anything? Because one of my equipment items was a 5G hotspot.
Yes, please do.
I want to see if I can get anything to connect on that onto the tablet that I've got or onto the phone that I've got. I just want to see, is it, because this should always have a connection. If it doesn't, then it's...
Yeah. Let's make this, well, either computer use or electronics. I'll let you choose.
I can't even find electronics. Electronics is 36. Computer use 45. Right. Be 45. Don't fail me, please. That is a 31. That's a
Ooh.
success on computer use.
Okay, so you plug in, and it's a 5G.
Yeah. It's supposed to be any document that I need from the
Yeah.
databases that we have, I can get it on demand.
Okay, so it seems to connect, then it's really slow, and then it disconnects. And then it seems to be going, like it shows it's going to like a 4G network, connects, and then it just seems to stutter.
I'm going to turn to the producers. I'm going to slide across to say, that worked at John O'Groats and Land's End. We're in a black spot. You're not getting a signal.
But-
We're not going to get a signal in it. If that thing, I've used that every site I've been on, that's worked.
Oh, that's just ridiculous, Alex. Like
know
you
what to
you
tell
were
you.
on stuff this morning, weren't you?
Yeah, I was doing work, my job, that I'm paid for with money.
There's something that's been brought in. Did we bring in any equipment? Is there anything heavy we've brought in that might be playing with the signal?
No, I mean, you know, everything we brought, we checked, like everything was working. Like this morning, everything was working until, I don't know, I guess
Between 10 and 1?
Yeah, basically.
Have you has someone got he just looks around, he's just kind of asking him, has someone got the book of headshots for the historic actors, the ones we're looking for, the group that's AWOL?
Oh, yeah, I think they left a list. Actually, Alex, you were meant to photocopy and distribute that. Did you not do that?
We've got the list.
Hang on,
We
let
need
me-
pictures.
Yeah, we need.
No,
maybe a
he
list.
left the pictures. Did he not tell you? You were meant to photocopy
No.
those and distribute them so we can try and find them. Never mind,
do that.
Alex. It's fine. It's fine. I should have got Kathy to do it. I know that. I know I should have got Kathy to do it. Sorry, shouldn't have asked you. Right. He gives you the piece of paper with the headshots. It's like, you might want to take some photocopies. Just, there you go. Right, black spot. Shit.
Well,
Any idea, sorry, Professor, any idea what we could do? Like, we've got all our tech guys on it. None of them can get through.
Well, there's no tech that's going to get through it. I'd love to tell you it's a sunspot, but there's none due. It's not going to be a solar flare. And unless you sat on an iron mine, I don't see why you'd suddenly have an issue, honestly. Unless someone's brought equipment in, unless there's been a power failure and a major one at that. There's not a good reason that you'd just suddenly have no signal. There's got to be something that interferes. I don't know. Is the area iron rich? Do we have someone who did a land survey? Local history? Actually, I suppose we need Eric, really.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't the original expert. The other one went sick. But yeah, I guess.
The other one went sick?
Oh, yeah, got COVID about 5-6 days ago.
Shame.
You know.
Shame.
He's fine now. Unfortunately, though, we're not allowed to bring him in. You know, the rules.
All the rules.
All the rules.
Alex, have you got those copies?
Yeah, I've got photocopies. I couldn't figure out how to do them in colour, so
That's okay. It's okay. There's a lady at the shop who saw a big group of the extras. We're just gonna go see if she recognises any faces. I think in the meantime, you might just have to shout really loud if you need us.
Right. Yeah. Oh, actually, that's a point. Somebody find the radios. We got radios somewhere. Somebody find them. Yeah. Thanks for your help. If you don't mind, we've got other stuff to sort out.
Yeah, I'm just gonna hang on and grab one of these radios if we can find them, and then we're gonna disappear and find the rest of the group.
Where are you going next?
We're just heading over to the shop if someone can run one out to us.
I'll get Kathy to run one to you.
Perfect. And Martin's just gonna very calmly just kind of take his deep breath and try and calm the room a little, and then he's gonna head out. Just nod to Alex if Alex wants to join him again.
Alex joins. Might get more free cornettos.
Yeah, you never know. Can't hurt, can it?
Yeah. I assume you go back to the shop.
Yeah. Just gonna head out with this
Yeah.
set of pictures. Yeah, all right there.
Right. Oh, are these the people you were looking for?
Yeah. These are the ones where this is the group that we're not sure where they've headed off to.
Right.
We thought it was the pub, but there was just the locals.
Okay, so those 6 definitely came in together. They were the ones who were complaining about catering. Let me think. They all got a drink. In fact, they all got the meal deal. So they all got a drink, a sandwich, a packet of crisps, and a couple got some chocolate bars. Can't tell you which ones though. We've had a bit of a rush on chocolate bars today.
No, it's fair enough.
So they said something about something special they got to do. I don't know. I guess.
When you say, I know I'm asking for details on what's probably been a really busy day. Did any of them say anything about this special thing, or even which direction they were going in, whose car they were going in?
Oh, well, nobody's going anywhere in this car. Everything's local. It's all walking at the moment, and they shut all the roads. So, I'm trying to think because there was that lighting operator and the sound guy. He came in.
If I leaf through all of the stuff, if we have a bunch of names of lighting operators and sound guys, could we try and jog a memory?
She just doesn't know.
No.
But that the guy who sits in the pub a lot. What's he called? I think he's called like Ernie, Eric.
Eric.
Maybe.
A
yeah.
historian. Very odd stare.
Yeah, that's him apparently. I think he was in there at around the same time. Pretty sure he was complaining about the meal deal.
That sounds like Eric.
Yeah, so I think I can't say where they went afterwards, and they didn't really say. They just said that they had to go and do something. So, but it was something special. But I think I got distracted. So, sorry, I can't really help much more.
No, you've been absolutely wonderful.
How much is your meal due?
Oh, well, we've run out of sandwiches, I'm afraid.
Oh,
Alex, just grab what you fancy. I'm going to grab myself something as well. And he's just going to kind of grab a big tube of Pringles or something, and whatever he can just carry a big thing of. And he's just going to munch as he walks.
Are you licensed?
For?
I think he's asking if there's something a bit more than a pop.
Oh no, you need to go to the pub for that. No, we're not licensed. We do have some camping stuff at the back. If you need, matches or anything like that. But they're all locked up, so you'll have to get me to come and unlock the stuff if you want to get at it. But there is that sort of stuff. But yeah, there's no alcohol. No, we're not allowed to sell alcohol.
Just gonna get some big bags of crisps and stuff, and just a tenner worth of snacks, just in case this ends up being a long night.
And I'm going to go back over to the other group. So you've made it down towards the ringstone. I'm going to change this over again. The ringstone, and the scream stopped quite. I mean, the scream maybe lasts for 3 or 4 seconds, and then it sort of stopped. Can all 3 of you give me a spot hidden roll, please? So this is as you're moving down towards it.
Got a 6.
Blimey. What's your...
I'm just checking. My thief is 12.
Ooh,
oh, wow. Okay.
Not doing bad. I got a 17, so I also pass.
Just a regular pass, or did you get under half?
No, I didn't hit half, no.
Yeah.
Fail from me.
Okay.
81 over 60. Harry instead is currently looking through his lens.
Yeah.
And trying to get some shots for Last of the Summer Wine.
Which I think... Never mind.
It's all about that paper.
It's all about that paper. So as you start moving, you can sort of smell smoke. And as you move further south, down towards to those sort of 3 stones, you can definitely smell it stronger. It doesn't smell like burnt grass. Well, it does sort of smell like burnt grass, but it's like burnt grass, and there's like a floral note to it almost. And then sort of like some, that sort of smell that sort of sticks at the back of your throat and makes it feel acidy, like almost burning inside your sort of nasal passages. And as you sort of get closer, Thea starts noticing that actually there are small patches of grass that seem to have withered, and not naturally withered. It's not from equipment. This is something else. And as you move further down towards the stones, as you get towards the ringstone, the smell is now acrid. You would think you were in a vast room of smoke that would be choking you, and that's what it feels like. It's like burning the back of your throat. It's starting to clog up your lungs, but the air is clear. It's just that smell. And as you get closer to it, you both start realizing that there is definitely charred grass around the ringstone. And then there's charred grass towards the devil's chair as well. And you can see there's almost like a footpath, like a stepping stone of charred grass leading between the two, about every 1.5 meters a new patch. And as you follow them down, you carefully examine them. It's burnt, but the grass around it is also withered.
Does
And
anyone point this out to Harry, by the way?
I'll probably only point it out to Eric, the stuff that I've noticed that.
I will. Come take shots of this, Harry.
Yeah. He'll start getting
This
really
looks
right down
quite
to the
strange.
ground, really close down to the ground on the burnt bit, and he's trying to get it so that he's got a panoramic shot from the burnt
Bit of a
part up to the researcher. The researcher's acting suitably odd for him that he's kind of like, oh, I can work with this. It's something I work with.
Thea, what were you about to say?
When?
Oh, I thought you were about to say something. What you do notice, Eric, is as you sort of move around to get a good position in the camera shot, as you step into the charred bit, it sort of pretty much perfectly fits 2 feet with just a halo around it. And the next one's the same. And the next one's the same. And you find 6 of these char marks leading from the ringstone to the devil's chair and then out of the henge itself. And that is where we are going to have a break. We will return in about 10 minutes. And welcome back. I just would like to give the warning that things may get a bit strange and concerning from now on.
Nothing to do with Call of Cthulhu. It's just that we've run out of snacks and we get a bit weird when the blood sugar goes down.
And nobody knows what Dave's doing with his character.
Nobody knows what Dave's doing. You can just stop there.
Who is this Dave?
Who is this Dave? So we return back to Avebury Henge. 'Tis night. The area is floodlit with various lights. There's camera crews around, there's sound crews around, there's historical reenactment actors, there's locals, there's a lot of people around. And we'll go back to Alex and Martin, who have left the shop. They have been provided a radio, 2 radios in fact, by the wonderful Kathy, Alex's other half, so to speak. What would be the other word? Better half. Also a runner, the favoured runner. And she's run off to go and do other stuff. And she just passes on a message that they still want to go live at 8. It's now heading up to 7. You need to sort stuff out. Like, hurry up and work out what's going on.
We've given plenty of information. They need to find another site, or they need to do a better geophys next time they move into a location.
She smiles at you and basically runs off again back towards the museum. So where are you two off to now?
My plan was to follow the tracks of the others, Ed. As far as we know, they went to the Adam and Eve stone, didn't they? Don't know where they went from. Oh, we don't know where they went from there. So I'm just kind of big headlight torch in one hand and bag of snacks in the other, just rifling through and just kind of chatting away and just seeing if I can I roll to just see if there's anything out of the ordinary, kind of chilling out on the grass or in the surrounding bushes, anything that like this torch is like shining a Land Rover's headlight into a bush. It's brutally light.
There's not a huge amount of bushes, but yeah, of course. And so as you're walking up the street from the pub, heading back towards the Henge area itself, you are looking for stuff.
Would it be spot hidden?
Yes, please. That would be lovely.
Can I look as well?
Yes, please. Either look or listen,
right.
or whatever you feel is appropriate.
That is a 17 on a 65, so it's below half.
It's below half, but not a fifth.
No.
Okay.
It's a few off.
5, which is exactly half.
Ah, perfect. So everything seems fine, apart from all the stuff. But as you sort of go up the road, you do notice that the historical actors are now leaving the pub and are sort of congregating outside. The person who is in charge of them is sort of trying to round them up and is basically, you can hear them sort of questioning where this person's gone or this person's gone. And basically getting quite angry and trying to get them all together. As you walk past that and get onto the henge itself, you start shining your light. And the first thing you notice is that you can see that obviously a lot of equipment has moved over the day. So you can see that where the light towers are now, with their like tripoded legs, they have been moved into that position from a different position earlier. So as you're starting to wander around, you're seeing the equipment has been moved as well. And as you sort of head closer in towards the cove stones, the Adam and Eve, and this is from a slightly different direction, you start to get that eerie feeling, and you notice that the grass isn't looking natural. It's looking, well, in your massively bright light, it's looking almost translucent. And then sometimes it looks like they're little flames and not grass at all. And as you get closer to the two cove stones, to Adam and Eve, Adam, the bigger one, you can see these sort of little flaming grass bits all the way up to it. But around Eve, there's no flames, just sort of darkness. And like when you shine your light off, it looks like normal grass again. Just, well, looks a bit odd, but looks like normal grass. But when you light it up under that really bright light, it changes back into this sort of almost like a void of grass. Like the grass should be there, but they don't exist.
I run it between my fingers in and out of the light.
You can. So which are you going for? The Adam side or the Eve side?
Adam's was the flame first, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of the translucent crystalline flame almost.
Yeah.
Flickery. I want to try that first and just he just kind of squats down, grabs a pinch of it in his hand, and he's just going to have a feel of it, and he's going to shine the light on it in his hand.
I wasn't
See if it's
told about any special effects in this area.
Me neither.
So when you hold it without the light on, it feels like a piece of grass. It's quite dry, not quite as damp as you'd expect the grass to be, especially at this time of year. It's, 21st of December. It's usually damper. And then when you shine the light on it, you feel like your finger starts burning. It starts...
I'm just going to drop it.
Yeah. And you look on your fingers, and there is a tiny little sort of blistering starting from where it's just caught your skin.
I'm going to have a look at the Eve as well, at the grass around the Eve.
Okay. Are you looking or are you picking it up?
This is with the light off. I'm just kind of taking a look because you said it was shadowed.
Yeah, so when you look at it now, I mean, it's dark, but it looks sort of normal. Like, it's almost like if you like look out of the corner of your eye, it sort of feels like it looks like it's not quite right. But when you look at it full on without the light on, yeah, you'd go for like normal grass.
I'm going to shine the light on it again, but I'm going to kneel down on the path so I'm not on the grass, and I'm just going to shine at a patch of the light.
Okay. So as you shine it, again, it just disappears. And it's not that it disappears, there's like a void. It feels like there is just nothing there, that it's just disappeared into some other dimension almost.
I'm going to knock the torch off. I'm going to take the smartphone out and go with the torch on the smartphone, so it's a lower intensity light and lower wavelength. I'm going to try that. Is it the same?
It's you notice then that the sort of border of the grass looks normal, but right at the heart, it still has that sort of void look to it. And if you do shine it over onto the flames, it's similar. The borders look darker and normal, but the inside is still flaming.
Okay, I'm going to take out another piece of equipment, which is the intense laser pointer for pointing out the stones at a distance.
Yeah.
I'm going to... Alex, can you just do me a favor? Just hold this on the grass and just switch it on and just aim it at the patch of grass.
Which patch of grass?
At the Eve. So he's standing on the path nearest to the stone, and he's shining it on the grass in between. Rob, go on. Stop being a pain in the ass. He's going to crouch down on the ground, and with the light shining on it so it's looking like a void, he's going to shine the laser pointer at the stone through what should be the grass, and he wants to see if the light hits the stone or not.
Sorry, am I here for this?
No, you're...
Is this where you're caught up? We're
no,
still
not-
at the devil's seat.
Yeah,
down.
you're further down.
He's basically seeing if he shines the light on it and it looks like it's not there anymore,
Yeah.
can he shine the laser pointer and hit the stone where
Okay.
the grass should stop it?
So, yes, you can. Well, you can under the mobile phone light. When you put your intense light on, the
It eats
laser
it.
disappears. as soon as it seems to hit the first bit of grass, it just disappears.
And is it a similar reaction on the other side? If I was to do it to the Adam stone?
So the Adam stone, what happens when you put the laser on it is that the flames seem to intensify.
What is that?
And as you laser towards the rock, the flames look like they start climbing up Adam.
So one feeds on the energy. So this is, Martin looks to Alex and goes, it looks like, it's like the grass is eating the light. And not like normal grass eating the light, like it's eating all the light.
Is this a sciencey thing I'm not educated enough to understand?
I don't even think this is a sciencey thing.
Oh no.
Yeah. Let's catch up to the others. And Martin's gonna, on his phone, he's gonna try and ring through to some of his colleagues, which Tom knows isn't gonna work, but he's basically trying to find someone in kind of the wider physics community to just kind of have a discussion with.
Yep. Okay.
On the off chance that someone gets through.
Cool. So we'll cut back to the other group.
I assume I told you guys about like the two guys I had crushes on that ended up getting
Simon, you might want to push to talk.
Yeah, I thought I was on push to talk because I was just listening to the other team. Yeah,
it's fine.
Corinne, that apparently you have to give that story another time so that the stream can hear. That's okay. It's okay. We'll do a Q&A feature on it.
Yeah,
anyway,
it's fine.
Sorry, carry on, guys.
Behind the GM screen.
It's absolutely fine. So we go back to the other group. So we're down by the ring stone and the barber stone. And this is the ring stone in the darkness. And Eric is stood in a patch of charred grass, which has got this strange sort of flood of something around it. One of 6. Harry is currently videoing from the ground looking up. What's Thea doing?
Regretting a life decision.
Yes. Thea is kind of investigating a little bit, trying to figure out what's going on. Yeah.
So, how would you like to investigate or figure out what's going on? Is it something specific you're looking for, or are you planning to carry on with following the trail? What's your thoughts?
Wouldn't they have the ability that most of us don't have of knowing when something's different?
I mean, she does. She knows it's different.
I think that was more of a, is this a normal occurrence in this area? Firstly, is it? And secondly, she will just follow the trail.
I am going to use your long-term memory, if that's all right with you.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So you have lived here all your life, and you know these stones very well. You know the area very well. And you have seen things happen at these stones before, especially in the late 80s. There was a whole pagan thing going on at summer solstice that went a little awry. And although this seems different to that, it's definitely got the same sort of like This is not natural factor about it. And when you think back to that, you think back to the people who were involved, and there was quite a few locals who ended up leaving the area if they didn't die. And there was quite a few others who sort of left after the failure of what they were trying to do. So you've seen things like this before, but not exactly this, I think, is the answer to that. And as you follow the track down, you pass by the Devil's Chair. And in front of the Devil's Chair, you see a strange figure sitting on the chair. And I'm just going to find you the chair, if I can.
I have a question, a clarification. The Adam and Eve stone are either side of the path.
No, Adam and Eve are in the middle of the circle. They're the very first ones. So they're right in the middle of the north circle.
So how is the grass split in these ones burn and these ones void?
It's literally, there's between the two stones, the grass is literally half and half.
So it's
around
only
them.
around those stones. It's not like all the grass.
No, it's around the stones. So it's probably about a meter or so where it's really obvious.
Prominent.
Yeah, but
Okay.
when you do look back, you can see it's almost starting to spread outwards a little bit more.
Okay. I get it.
This is the Devil's Chair. It's a massive stone, and it has this little ledge on it. And sat in the ledge is this sort of, well, humanoid would probably be a nice thing to say about it. It's stiff. It's rigid. It has a face that seems to be either smiling cruelly or jeering at you, depending how you look at it. And when you look at it, it seems to be made of, is that straw or grass? Is that some sarsen stone from the stone circle? It's a figure that is just sat there, doing nothing, just staring ahead.
Does it look the same through the camera?
So as you come round, can you give me whatever you think would be appropriate, either like your photography or you can use like spot hidden, whatever you feel is the right flavour. See, as you are looking at this, you can see in front of it there are many
I'm going to go with spot hidden. I don't think camera use is more kind of what I capture. Obviously, I am capturing things at the moment. If I need to look back at it, certainly camera use. But right now, I'm going to go for spot hidden.
Go for it.
44 under 60, so just a success.
Yeah. So as you look through the camera, you can just see the stone and the seat. It's quite dark. The light, actually, that should be hitting it, and as you sort of duck out from under, from away from the camera viewer, you can see the light is hitting it. It's fully lit. But when you look back in, it seems quite dark, almost shadowed. And what you see is a large patch of charred grass that is actively smoking.
But do I see the figure sat in the chair?
You do not, unless you look with your eyes, not by the camera.
Okay. He would be when he's checking out and all checking it out. Of course, he would be looking up to see what the others see. So suddenly he'll go, guys, whatever the fuck that is, turn it up on the camera.
I would like to take a look at it.
I would like to approach it, by the way, as well.
Do I
Okay.
recognise it, Helen?
Give me something relevant to tell me whether you recognise it or not.
Mythos roll?
Yes, that would be
Crooked
perfectly
file.
good.
Bear with me. I thought I had higher than that, but apparently I don't. Let's see what happens. 81. That's a no.
Okay, have you got a local history skill?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, actually, you've got both you and Thea, you both have occultism, don't you? Occult.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why don't you both roll me
roll.
that?
Okay.
Yes.
29, which is less than half.
Excellent.
Oh, 95. That's not
Nice.
successful.
So Thea, you're almost mesmerized by it. It's not looking at you, but you're looking at it and you're almost mesmerized. And you do find yourself sort of walking towards it very slowly. You're not entirely sure if that's your intention or not. Eric, as you look at it, you see that it's grass, hay, stone. And you think back to some of the things you've heard of in this country and some of the things you've seen elsewhere. And what comes to mind is something that is like an avatar for one of the gods. This avatar, it's definitely rural. Something to do with flames. And as Thea walks towards it a bit closer and a bit closer, the Wicker Man suddenly pops into your head. The Wicker Man is an avatar of Nyarlathotep. It's often thought to be like a scarecrow. This isn't like a scarecrow to you. This is like some hideous rendition of a person. And the only thing you know about it is that it kills by fire. As Thea walks closer and closer.
I will hold my hand out and say, stop, don't go near it.
I think you're going to have to give me a contested power roll to see whether you can persuade her.
Contested against me.
Yes, because you are now under its thrall. As you were looking at it and...
64, so I passed. But that's nothing's better than the path.
How far is this stone from the ones where me and Ed are at?
It's not far, and I would say that you are sort of approaching it quite fast. You can definitely see Harry moving around with the camera. You can see like the light catching off the camera lens as he moves. So you can definitely see them. And you are going to be there within, half a minute.
Is it responding to the torch? Because this thing would light at a distance.
You're coming from behind it and the chair's
Right.
on the other side, if that makes sense.
So the whole thing is lit by this corona of light.
So yeah,
Like,
so
it's not, but behind it.
So as you're coming towards it, and I think Harry will probably notice that on the camera, Harry, you're suddenly seeing a lot of light spillage into your into your view, as this incredibly bright torch is starting to move towards you. From Martin's and Alex's point of view, you've got the light shining onto the devil's chair from the front, so the seat part. So the back of it is in complete shadow. So you can't see that side until you come round, basically. How did you do?
I got 45 on a 70, so I just succeeded.
Yes. Okay. So, Thea, you are still feeling the draw towards the Wicker Man sat on the devil's chair.
I'll still go towards it, yeah.
Okay.
I will attempt to stop her.
How are you going to do this?
Physically.
Bodily.
Okay.
I'm just going to grab her arm, basically.
All right.
I don't know if I have any way of... would that be brawl, or do you want to just do like a strength roll?
I think let's go for a brawl versus... are you going to try and dodge, or are you going to try and let yourself be grappled?
I'll dodge.
Okay, so a brawl versus a dodge. As you two roll, Harry, you can see Martin and Alex approaching quite quickly now. And
24.
Yeah, they're speeding up as they come towards you. 24?
Yeah, I passed by 1.
Okay, well,
I got an extreme success.
Okay.
Oh.
So
I got a 5.
Wow. So yeah, how does that look? How do you try and grab her?
Basically, I grab her up by the arm, but she just pulls away and moves on, doesn't she? So I'm not...
I mean, I have to deal with sheep all the time. Like, you'd be surprised how quick those little things are.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
See, nothing like a sheep. Sheep much harder. Sheep much harder.
Martin and Alex, you have arrived, and you can see now see on the other side the figure.
I'm going to shine the torch at it because I'm like, have we made a friend? And just shine the torch at him.
Okay. As you shine the torch at him, can you all please do a sanity roll?
Ooh, sanity. We love sanity.
My apologies, by the way, but like...
Simon, just tell me, are you looking through the camera or looking in real life?
Both at the moment, because
Okay.
I can't see the figure without doing the camera.
You're going back and forth. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
You
He is
carry on,
actually
do sanity.
flicking. He is actually
I
flicking through
failed.
his camera to see if he can record the guy, in any way, and he's going to go through IR and stuff like that to see if he can actually capture the figure. But also he knows there's a fight coming up because he can see it about to kick off, so he's mindful to make sure he records that too.
How does sanity work? 'Cause I got an 88 and my sanity is 50, and I feel like that's a problem.
Bad. I passed my sanity roll.
I
Same.
don't know how.
74 over 80, 74 over 65.
I got 24 over 70.
If
Under
you're
70.
already strange, you
Yeah.
get more strange.
So,
Exactly. The correct way.
if you get under your sanity, you have passed. So is that correct? No, it's the other way around, isn't it? Hold on. Now I've confused myself from
Your
reading what I
sanity
said.
is your defense from going insane. So
Yeah.
if you passed, then you
Doesn't your
either
sanity
get,
keep getting
you either
lower?
take no effect from it or a reduced effect from it.
Yeah.
Some stuff
Yeah. Happens.
will-
Yeah.
No
Exactly.
matter what
That's
you
why.
roll, you're still going to get hit by something.
Yeah. So as you guys look at it, it's it looks horrendous, and you can see it is starting to burn from the inside, or it looks like there's flames coming from the inside. You all take 2 points of sanity damage.
Is...
Hmm?
Oh, okay, it's that one. Sorry, I got mixed up on the sheet.
Sorry. Martin, you... Jesus Christ.
Take more.
I rolled a natural 20. I apologise.
I lost 20 then.
You've taken 20, and this this has an effect on you.
It may have more than an effect.
Just a small one. Just a small effect.
Just a scooch. Smidge. Maybe even a modicum if we're lucky.
This is the best part.
The sanity is the best.
So, the first thing that happens is you lose all self-control. You are under my command at the moment, I'm afraid. As it goes into your head, and you don't just see the figure, you see the flames, you see the people that it has engulfed inside of its body and killed. You see the void there. You see the evil. You see the end of humanity. And your mind just cannot compute it, cannot deal with it. And the first thing you do is you fall to the floor and you start rocking back and forth as you gibber.
Someone just proved that nonsense is real, so science isn't.
Is it nonsense? So, all of the rest of you have started to see its face, and it suddenly moves its head up, locks its eyes on Thea, stands up, and starts to move towards her.
Am I still drawn towards it?
You are.
TPK.
This is the way of Call of Cthulhu.
No, not having it. I want to step in between the Wicker Man. And I am going to hold my hand out towards it and start invoking several names. So
I know people.
I'll start with his boss, Nyarlathotep, Nodens, Cthulhu, Yog-Sothoth, and then I will roll. Where is it? Do I have to roll on this one? I don't think I do have to roll on this one.
No, your magic works.
Yeah, I'm going to spend 1 magic and 1 sanity.
Okay, can you just tell me, or tell everybody what you're actually doing?
I'm casting a spell called Deflect Harm, which basically will deflect his attempt to attack, if successful. So basically I have a shield up, and he will have to get through that. I'm going to try and maneuver so that he has to get through me to get to Thea.
Okay.
It costs me a magic point and a sanity point to put it up, and that will work against 1 attack, and then I can keep it going.
Yep.
By spending more magic points.
Okay.
I don't have to spend more sanity. Okay. But if I drop my hand, it ends, and then I have to do it again, which is another sanity thing. Yeah. If I run out of magic, I can choose to put my health into it, because that's always fun. We always have to do that at some point. So I'm going to try my best to just hold it at bay with my magic.
So you are literally stepping in between the two of them. Okay, so while Eric does that, what are Alex and Harry doing?
This is really good shit. Harry is a selfish asshole who probably deserves his inevitable fate, and is recording every damn thing. And he's flicking between the different spectrums and things like that on his camera equipment to try to get any clues as to what's going on at all.
Okay. When you go into the infrared, which is the thermal one, you can suddenly see it, and it is just flames. It is a body of flames, large flames that seem to be reaching out towards Thea. But as Eric steps in front, the flames are sort of cut off. They're not bounced back. They're just literally cut off by whatever he's doing.
Looks like all the action's in infrared now. He's pretty much staying in that, keeping one eye open to see it in person, but then the rest in infrared.
Okay. Alex.
Alex is staying back. He's assumed he's just gone and walked on while they're doing some sort of weird stew.
That's brilliant. That's
Like,
brilliant.
he doesn't remember this like being a thing, but he's assuming that he just wasn't paying attention at the time. So like giving it space, not being in the shot,
Yeah.
staying away.
Okay. See, as Eric steps in front of you and then says these words, and you have a hand out as well, don't you? Is that right?
Yeah, I have to hold my hand out.
Yeah.
Basically.
And as his hand goes out, it seems to suddenly you haven't got quite that same compulsion. There's still a desire to look at it further, to maybe embrace it, but like that sort of compulsion has gone or has pretty much diminished. What are you going to do?
I'm going to see the fire. It is fire, right? And I'm going to think. I'm going to do something drastic. I'm going to start a hurricane in a very controlled area, very small area, using freak weather.
Right.
So that's 10 magic points and 1d4 points of sanity. But it also takes 2 rounds, so I'm only preparing it right now.
Right. Okay.
Today I learned that Call of Cthulhu has magic in it.
One of us read a bigger tome of magic. Because I can't do shit like that.
Yeah, I love the fact that Tom's only just found out now. It's like, yes, there is magic in Call of Cthulhu. It's not good.
It's not
No, it doesn't
always
feel
good.
like it.
Some of it's
Yeah.
useful if used in the right way.
I think the words,
Like,
I'll
I'm
spend
there
some
thinking-
health.
I'm there thinking, I still have enough points left that I could go and give Tom 2d6 sanity back. But that would be me done for the episode. That would be me out of spells. I ain't summoning no goddamn whirlwinds.
Okay, so spend the points. And
So
you're...
do I need to roll the d4 or are you doing that?
No, you can roll it. Yeah. It's in front of you. And what, you're causing a hurricane, did you say?
Just a miniature one. I want to cause as much water as possible. 6.
Okay, so a hurricane with water.
Is
Ice,
that not
maybe.
what hurricanes deal with?
But you don't get hurricanes on land, do you? Oh no, hurricanes you do.
That's the typhoon.
I mean, I can do
Typhoon, yeah.
hail.
I mean,
Ice.
you can
It's
do
just
whatever.
freak weather.
Yeah, you can do whatever freak weather you want.
Maybe-
That's why I was asking. Is it a hurricane with water?
Maybe cold snap or rain, for example.
Giant blocks of ice, summer from the sky, never went wrong.
Apart from the fact,
Yeah, golf ball sized rain. Yeah, let's have golf ball sized hailstone in this area where there is no cover anywhere.
literally out in the open, remember?
Like a proper good umbrella. People want.
Umbrellas always works really well against hailstorms.
So yeah, I just want to cause water, essentially.
Yeah.
using
No, you can have
weather.
a watery hurricane. That's fine.
Yeah.
Does it say how accurate can you be with this? Do you think?
The caster has no direct control over the effect and can only cause it to manifest in a given location. The location must be within sight of the caster. So right in front of me.
Okay.
On the other side of Eric, preferably.
Yeah.
I don't think you've got that much control.
Can you roll me a power roll, please?
Basically,
Oh.
you can decide what it is. You just can't decide what it does once you've made it.
Yeah. This is just to decide, like.
Well, I got 19 and my power is... I got the half.
You've got a half.
The half success.
So yeah, okay. So
I got a really good success, but not extreme.
Yeah. So you surprisingly, bearing in mind what your mind has just been through, you are able to sort of get it mostly over the stone and the wicker man in front of it. However, as it starts to get windy and rain starts to fall, it does start affecting the others. Dave, can you give me a constitution roll to see if you can hold your position with your spell, please?
I mean,
I'm sorry.
I don't mind spending a sanity every time I block one, honest.
The other side of this is he is a British
that
person
would
dealing
be
with
a
rain.
no.
Right. So
88 I rolled.
So as the wind starts to pick up, the rain does fall, and you can see that certainly Harry can see that the flames do seem to diminish. They're not reaching out as far. But there is still a very hot core within the body of the Wicker Man that doesn't seem to diminish at all. You unfortunately break your warding effect. And Alex and Martin just find yourselves suddenly getting very cold and very wet from the rain. Martin, this is not helping your mental state at all.
I'm sorry.
And as the wind starts hitting you, you start thinking that something is grabbing you or pushing you, and it makes you want to start moving. And so you're going to start crawling quite fast away from them.
Like the way we came.
Well, probably no. You're sort of going more towards the other stones, the lower end of the stone circle.
Right.
You are crawling, but you are crawling quite fast. But like every time you feel the wind sort of touch you, it spurs you on a bit further, and you can't understand it. You just think something's trying to grab you, and you're just trying to avoid it. So yes, you can. So that's what Harry sees. He sees the flames are diminishing. Alex, you can sort of see that you're wet. It's windy. It's a bit miserable. Eric has sort of been put off balance and dropped his hand. Martin has started crawling off very quickly. And Thea, give me another power roll to see whether you can overcome the compulsion to embrace the Wicker Man.
I got just a normal success.
Okay, so
I think,
yeah. So you are able to sort of hold strong. Everyone, give me. Oh, actually, everyone, just tell me what your listen score is.
40.
55.
60.
50.
30.
Okay, so everyone apart from Eric and Martin, you can start hearing chanting happening. It seems to be coming from the north of you. seems to be a lot of voices altogether. And when you look at the clock, your watch, it's now 7:30.
Should have burnt the pub down.
Did you say you should have burnt the pub down?
Yep.
That's
With all the locals in it.
It's a heresy. And yes, so you can now see it chanting. And as you hear the chanting, you see the Wicker Man start turning towards the chanting and start moving towards it. The first person in my head it will come across would be Alex, and then the second person would probably be Harry from their positions. So, Alex, you have the Wicker Man moving towards you as you can hear chanting in the background. There's also still a hurricane and rain going on.
This is too avant-garde for me.
Some bullshit.
Alex is going to run, try and find some cover somewhere.
Okay. Which way are you going?
You can probably find Martin quite easily. He's probably behind a stone by this point with a really fucking bright torch in his hand. It's not subtle.
Yeah, that's true. Didn't switch the torch off, did you?
Towards the road, but
Towards-
not north.
Yeah, okay. So you're going basically down towards where Thea and Eric are and going beyond them towards the actual main road.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Harry, what are you doing?
Harry's backing the fuck up while still trying to steady cam. He's pissed off at the fact that the weather's changed, and he's doing his best to kind of make sure that the lenses are clear, and he's he knows that he's got something that's absolute fucking gold here at the moment. He doesn't know entirely what it is. He's calling on the spirit of wartime journalists and wartime cameramen everywhere, thinking this is the big, that you can get out this, just stay away from the flaming bastard. And he knows that if he can just record this and survive, that's it. Harry's hit the big time. Completely driven by greed. He's trying to get it so that Alex stays between him and the Burning Man. Kind of hoping that it's like, okay, well, if Alex dies, that's the conclusion, and then you run like fuck and get this back to the gaffer.
Okay. So as Alex starts running in the other direction towards the road, bearing in mind the Wicker Man, so I see it as like in a very simple, like north, south, east, west, you're standing in the east, and Alex was sort of closer to the centre and is now just banging right down south very quickly as the Wicker Man is sort of coming, never eat, like up towards the east, towards you, but is planning to go north effectively. That's what you see. So you see Alex absolutely tanking it out of there, because Alex is reasonably quick, aren't you? Even as a runner, you're reasonably quick. What's your move?
Move is 8.
Yeah, he's a fast mover, so to speak. So yes, Alex is suddenly out of being between you two.
And Harry's fucking booking it as well.
Okay.
He's just gonna run, try to find a good vantage point, and when he's happy that he's safe again, he's going to carry on recording this.
Yeah.
He's not leaving his eyes off it all, and he has got a good recording of the chanting as well. Hopefully he'll be able to analyze it later, and not he won't be able to analyze it later, but the people will be able to analyze it later and find out what they were saying and maybe get something out of it.
Yeah. So basically the Wicker Man, I assume none of you are planning to do anything while it moves away from you?
Am I allowed?
You are gibbering and crawling away from it still, sorry. That is the problem with insanity. Thea or Eric planning to do anything?
This be considered the guardian of this area. I think.
Yes. You're considered the guardian of the whole henge.
No, I mean, would that thing be? Is that magically guarding this area?
No, not unless
Okay.
you set it up somewhere else, didn't you? Your warding.
No, that's the circle of warding. I'm looking at warding sign.
Ah, okay. So warding sign allows you to.
A special hand gesture that can be performed when entering a magically guarded area, such as a tomb or a secret. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. No. So this is, from your point of view, it is a magical secret area, but as the Wicker Man is moving away from like the Devil's Chair and the stones down there, it's heading towards the ring stone, but the chanting seems to be coming from around the cove, basically. So it doesn't take much to think it's probably heading towards where all the chanting is. It is very slow. Well, it's quite slow, unless it wants to consume you. So you do have the possibility of outrunning it if you want to try and like run there. But then, you might be in its way if you fail.
No. I don't want to be in its way.
You not have fun with it before? So it sort of starts moving away. And like I say, it seems to sort of plod quite slowly up towards the chanting. And you let it go. Martin, how much sanity did you start off with?
At 50, I'm at 30.
Okay. Can you give me an intelligence roll, please? I will give you a hint. You want to fail it.
That's rough because my intelligence is 75.
I know.
That's a 38, which is 1 point off almost going a half success.
So as your mind sort of starts to calm down and you're now out of the touch of the hurricane, you start thinking about what you saw. And as you think about it, you start having that whole science versus myth thing go on.
The disconnect.
And as that happens, your hold on your sanity weakens further. Can you roll me a 1d10 if you have one, please?
I can. I also want to be at the same time he's clenching his fist where the burns are and he's trying to come to terms with the fact that none of this makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That is a 10.
Oh, no.
Jesus.
I mean, I knew what that was.
Your sanity has left you for 10 hours. However, you can still do things as a character. They just won't be sane. Does that make sense?
Can I see what is happening to Martin?
No. I established a second ago. He crawled away and hid behind a rock.
Yeah.
With a torch.
With a bright torch. You saw the bright
You
torch.
can see where he is.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I want to see really, like, as everybody else has run away, I want to make sure Thea and Martin are okay.
Yeah.
Can we, before that happens, can I hear the chanting at this point?
Yes, you could hear the chanting as well. You can hear it now. And that's even worse.
Can I
Because
recognize what language it's in? Is it in Latin?
it is in Latin.
Can I roll Latin quickly before it gets to me?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I'm kind
You
of going,
can.
Is this the thing? Am I tripping?
Roll me Latin. Let's see.
That's a 40.
And
I
your
have
Latin is
40.
Okay.
What happens if you meet?
Meat's fine. Meat
I'll
will
take
work
that.
for me.
Oh, yeah.
For God's sake. Jesus. It's a horror show in of its own accord. As your sanity is loosening, your brain still goes, yeah, that's Latin. That's what are they doing? And you hear basically a call to the great god Nyarlathotep.
Nyarlathotep.
Thank you, Nyarlathotep. And what they are saying is, we have sacrificed to your avatar. We call you here now. Grant us your presence. And as you hear that and you process that, you suddenly think, well, maybe they could do something for me. And you stand up and you start walking to where the chanting is. From now on, you are in control of your character. Your character is drawn towards the chanting, drawn to what they're saying, wanting it to go ahead.
Nyarlathotep wants sacrifices.
The sacrifices have already been given to his avatar, the Wicker Man. That's what you're hearing in the Latin as they call.
I'm going to switch the torch off and start walking towards them then.
Excellent. So that's what you see. You see Martin suddenly stand up, switch torch off, and start going towards where the chanting is. I've got two of you out on the road and two of you sort of by the devil's chair, having just watched the Wicker Man walk away. What are you going to do?
Do we know that the chanting's coming from mortals like ourselves?
Yeah, it sounds human.
As I look around, this is probably more for the players than it is for Helen. How many of our lot are reacting sanely, by which I mean scared out of their tits?
I'm not.
Alex is taking
I'm
a brief
concerned.
pause, deciding whether to bolt it or to stay and watch. Clearly thinking more towards bolt it.
It's not an unreasonable action.
Yeah, I mean, Harry would like to get an ending to this. He's just there thinking, yeah, what if they turn around and say, okay, yeah, you got something that's really tasty. How did it end? What was the explanation for it? So he's trying to stay, but he's trying to find somebody. Basically, he's trying to find the protagonist for his story.
Okay.
Did the see what's his face walk off as well, Professor Martin, or was it just the other professor?
You and Eric are both basically in the same sort of area. So basically, Alex and Harry have run past you onto the road, not too far past you, but far enough. Eric has sort of stayed in the same area, and you've both seen Martin, because he had that incredibly bright light. So you saw the light move up, switch off, and then you sort of see in the darkness. There are still lights up, so you do catch flickers of him. You can see Martin walking up. And what's your speed's about? What's your move is 6 or something? Is that right, Martin?
I'm looking for it.
It's right at the bottom of the sheet.
At the bottom, that's why I'm not spotting it. Move is 6.
Yeah. So he's moving reasonably swiftly. He's not, he didn't run as quickly as Alex ran when he was shitting himself, but he's moving quickly and with intent.
Thea will turn to Eric and say, we should probably stop him going that way.
Actually, I have an idea. Eric's going to start walking towards where Martin's going.
Oh, Jesus, okay.
Is Harry coming with the camera?
Oh, yeah.
Can Martin see him coming with the camera? Helen.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not hiding myself.
Can Martin see?
So-
No, yeah, of course. If he
I'm
looks,
not hiding.
but Martin is so intent on like anything else. He just wants to be where the chanting is now. That's your motivation.
He said that as long as it's insane, I have control of my actions. Is that fair?
Yes.
If Martin sees that Harry is coming, he's going to kind of give him a wave and he's going to do the symbol, get the camera ready. And he's going to walk up to this group of people. And he's going to kind of nod at them. And he's going to turn to Harry and just kind of wave him up to start filming. And
Harry knows that he can't leave because he'll get in trouble if he leaves. Somebody seems to look capable and confident that he knows how to resolve this. So I'm absolutely sticking with the insane person.
So he's going to look to the camera and briefly in Latin, he's going to say to the ones next to him that we greet our Lord Nyarlathotep tonight. And then he turns to Harry and he says, you join us tonight underneath the stars on this, the longest night of the year, where tonight, amongst our peers, amongst the great people of this town who've welcomed us in, the staff who've put on this wonderful day of reenactments and history, where today we greet our Lord Nyarlathotep, the burning fire himself, the heart of the heat, as he comes towards us, and he's gonna gesture towards the scarecrow-looking thing that is walking towards him for Harry to see.
As you say this, all the lights suddenly brighten massively. And Harry, you get a sudden feedback on your camera. So Martin starts to go pixelated. And across the radio that Martin has, and also the one Alex has, you suddenly hear crew going, the link's back up, we're good. And at that point, the church bells ring 8 o'clock. And you hear on the radio links, it's like, go, go, go.
Alex chucks for radio.
And the chanting loudens. And people start to move closer towards the cove stones. Start to walk closer towards Adam and towards Eve. And you watch 1, then 2, and then 3 people consumed by the flame as they touch Adam's stone. And you see 3 people disappear as they touch Eve's stone. Harry, all of
Harry
this is transmitting live.
Shitting himself. Yeah, Harry is shitting himself. He's kind of muttering in his head, not out loud, but he's there kind of like, this is fucking journalism. This is what you're supposed to be doing. This is fucking journalism. And he is making sure he knows where, again, the Burning Man is. He's starting to wig out slightly at Martin. But, Martin is his anchor at this point. Mm-hmm. So he's just like, well, there's nothing else I could do. So trembling, he just goes behind the camera as if to say, is it going okay? Mm-hmm. Obviously, you can't. Oh shit! Underneath the camera, you just go. Yeah.
It's like.
Okay, so Alex, what are you doing? You're out. Alex is out. Wise.
Just one.
Okay, Eric and Thea, what are you two doing?
I would like to try and get to the stones ahead of the crowd, but without burning, probably.
Okay, they are very much at the stone. So they're at the cove
Let
now.
everybody, right?
Yeah.
But I want to, right. So I want to very loudly start trying to get the attention of the crowd as much as possible.
Okay.
And, I'm gonna
Give me.
fast talk.
Yeah, go on.
I'm gonna try and do this as fast talk. I'm gonna try and basically get them to stop because I have an important message from Nyarlathotep.
Right, give me a fast talk roll. You're gonna have to get like at least half. It's gonna.
Well, I didn't.
Okay.
I got a pass.
Right.
But I'm not just doing fast talk.
Right.
I'm also going to spend 3 magic points and 1d6 sanity and back up what I'm saying with words of power.
Oh. And tell me, what do words of power do?
Well, I kind of feel bad because I rolled 1 on my sanity last time. I wanted to lose more sanity for this.
We've all been there, Dave.
Right, so what it does is that for every 3 magic points that I spend,
Yeah.
and I've spent 3, I don't know if I'll need more. I'll see how it goes. I can get everybody who can hear me to believe a fact for 1d3 days.
Right.
Fact.
So the fact I want them to believe is that Nyarlathotep has sent me with a message. He got the date wrong. It's actually next week, guys. Go home.
I'm terribly sorry, but there seems to be some sort of snafu in the booking department. This is actually supposed to be the Freemasons. They're going to be here in a minute. We need to get the caterers in. I'm afraid we're going to have to postpone the end of the world.
We've got Mercury in the ascendants, but it's actually Mars. Simple clerical error.
This is interesting. Okay.
Kind of wanted to end the world. Not gonna lie.
Your effects do not get the whole crowd, unfortunately.
Okay.
You get probably 2/3 of the group who stop, and they stop chanting,
I'll take that.
and they turn around and look at you silently.
Sorry.
Oh, other 2/3.
The other third carry on chanting as more are now physically pushed towards the stones at the cove. Martin, what are you doing?
Which group does Martin fall into?
Martin
Does Martin
falls.
believe it?
No, Martin is insane. Martin will not believe it. Even if you try to believe it, your mind will just wrap it away again and you won't believe it. So you are very much part of the third that are unaffected by it.
So,
And you hear what he says.
Martin is going to do the classic, the BBC diagonal walk across the grass while talking to the camera. He's going to go, we're going to go across to a recent friend of mine. This is Eric Davenport. He is a local historian, and he is going to kind of walk up behind him, and he's just going to hand on the shoulder, get him onto the camera, get the camera pointed at him, and he's going to try and draw attention over to him instead. So he's looking eyes into the... Is Harry now going live if we've been given the go to go live?
Yeah, the second that he was told, it was like shit, we're on. That's one of the reasons why he can't leave. Is that it's live now? That's it. He has to stay.
And if you, not that you would notice particularly, Martin, but like all of the crew are like at their stations filming. There's sort of a hubbub of like pleasure about it, like, you know, it's suddenly working and now it's all sort of coming in. The reenactment is quite different to what the rehearsals had been, but you know, hey, it's been changed a couple of times during the day already, so you know, they're just rolling with it, much like Harry rolling with it.
Be all right on the night.
Yeah. Thea, what are you doing?
Thea's kind of panicking. She's better with smaller things to herd.
Mm-hmm.
Not too sure how she's going to herd an entire group of insane people.
Mm.
It
It's a problem.
Does she still have a
is.
hurricane?
I can't control it.
Still there though. And we're talking about rigging lights in a hurricane. Can you do anything with it?
She can't move it once she can only
End
cast.
of the world it is.
Well, she has other capabilities, I'm sure.
Not great ones.
You know what you were asking before about wording ward? Wording ward? Warding word. I'll get it the right way
Wording
round.
rainbow.
The cove is one of those magical places.
Okay, I guess I'll do that. But all it does is... Sorry, I need to get the right thing up again.
That's all right.
I'll need to do a opposed power with the Guardian.
Mm-hmm. That's fine.
And if I succeed the cast, I will be ignored by the Guardian. So yeah, that sounds pretty useful.
Yep.
So that's 1 magic point. And don't tell me.
All right. Yeah.
I got 97.
Oh, you didn't. I got 87. You fool. You could have had that. Unfortunately, you are not warded. The Wicker Man starts moving into view, starts heading towards Adam and Eve, and then stands between the two stones. You have an opportunity to do one more thing before this is going to come to an end.
Can I punch him?
The Wicker Man. You can certainly try. Roll me a punchy roll.
A brawl.
Brawl.
I will roll brawl. Please be under 12.
Get your back, son.
Okay, I got a hard success. So I got a 20, which my half is 30, so that's that.
Yeah. How much damage do you do?
Oh shit, yeah, sorry.
That's all right.
1d3 plus db. What's db?
Damage bonus, bottom right hand corner.
Ah, thank you.
That's all right.
So I got a 3 on a d6. Is that just half then, or?
Yes.
So 1.5 plus 1.
I'll be generous. Round it up to 2. So you're doing 3 damage points. So you're punching the Wicker Man. Am I right?
Yes.
Excellent. The Wicker Man is punched. The Wicker Man holds out its arms and pulls you into it.
Or a
And
nice hug.
pulls you inside it. And as you do so, you feel warm feet, warm hands, warm head, and then it just burns. And it burns
Nice.
hot. And it burns hotter. And you scream, but your scream is diminished as you disappear into a flaming void.
Lovely.
Eric? Harry?
Eric is going to say, maybe I can't save everybody, but maybe I can just save you, Martin. And as we're being filmed on camera, I'm going to basically hold on to Martin while I talk to him and just say, you've spent your entire life studying the stars, my friend. That's where they live. You've seen their home. You know where they live. Snap out of it And then I'm going to cast healing using deeper magic, which is not fun.
Can this
So
be counted?
Mm?
Can this be counted?
yes, it can, but
Yeah.
I might not.
Yeah. Let him try first.
Right.
Okay.
So I
This is
have
bad.
to-
This
I have
is
to
a bad
take
thing.
2 hit points of damage myself for that,
Mm-hmm.
and the sanity,
Mm-hmm.
and then a bit more sanity in a minute. So a variant of the spell can mentally heal a person. This is the deeper version, allowing the target to regain 2d6 sanity points and curing any insanity currently being suffered.
Excellent.
Effects are temporary, 24 hours, unless the caster sacrifices power to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to sacrifice power because it's the end of the show, isn't it? So, let's have a look at this. 2d6 sanity back. Tom.
Hang on. I don't have D6 on.
Dave, you
I've
roll.
got it.
You roll the
Yes,
d6.
Well, stewards.
Seven sanity back. Not as much as you've lost, I read it.
Yeah.
No, but it's enough to get me out of the insanity, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. And I have to pay 7 power to do that.
Yeah.
Which is
Okay. What does that look like, Dave?
I think it looks like me holding him in place, trying to get through to him that he can handle this. He's been studying their home for all this time. That he's actually an expert on them if he just thinks about it properly and doesn't give in to the craziness. And as it's not working perfectly, I think it does end with like a palm to the forehead, kind of knock some sense into you kind of move.
I was expecting that. Just wake up, Chelsea.
Close, yeah.
What does that look like? What happens to you, Martin?
I think there's a very brief moment where he's been working on this in his head. He's been trying to figure this out, and he keeps coming to the conclusion, no, that doesn't make sense. No, that doesn't make sense. And he is going to go through all the things again in his head while he's looking at Eric in the face. And when Eric says, "You've seen their home," he thinks of every time he's been sat on the James Webb Telescope images and seen something gone, that's probably nothing. It's probably just another black hole to check later. And he kind of goes, it's not magic. And he's gonna look to Harry on the camera. He's gonna go, terribly sorry, folks. I've just had it through the earpiece that we're gonna have an issue, so I'm gonna have to give you the classic line of back to you in the studio while we deal with some technical issues. And the second that he does, he's gonna give the kill signal to Harry, and he's gonna look to the production assistant, shout, "Kill the lights, kill all the lights."
Right. Harry, what do you do?
Exactly what I'm fucking told. At this point, I'm just relieved that somebody is taking the responsibility for ending this.
Mm-hmm.
I've just seen the shepherdess be turned into ash.
Mm-hmm.
It's live, so I don't have to worry about processing this shit either.
Yeah.
The second that the camera is off, Harry runs.
Okay.
And runs and runs.
So
I
just
wonder if Martin and Eric just are right arm in arm watching the wave of fire engulf.
so
At least we were sane at the end.
hold on. Just Martin, can you give me a persuade roll a minute, please,
Ooh,
to see
I
whether
can
the
indeed.
crew do what you ask? Whether the lights go off.
That is a 41. I have a. Come on. I can't find it. I have a 50, so it's a regular success.
That's fine. So you the fact that you're on camera, that this is going live, the crew do what they say, you say, and all the lights are cut. And Harry stops filming, is that correct? You switch off the camera. Okay. Behind you, the Wicker Man suddenly flames high, seems to grow in size, and then there is an eruption from the ground beneath the two stones. And as the Wicker Man is destroyed into 1,000 pieces, a many-tentacled darkness takes its place. And that is the god Nyarlathotep. I still can't say it right. And
It's like a weird fabric. It's Nylar fabric, Nylar Athertep.
thank you.
Really,
Nyarlathotep.
really into his tight fitting.
And Nyarlathotep looks at those who have summoned, looks at those who have been sacrificed, looks at those who have been stopped. And as the lights go out one by one, you hear screams from those amongst you until you hear yourself screaming and you hear your neighbour screaming, and even Alex, as Alex runs away, finds himself screaming and screaming and screaming. In the studio, there is silence. They weren't able to cut the stream, and the delay on the stream meant that they saw all that Martin had to say. They saw what the Wicker Man did, and then they saw Martin regain senses and cut the stream. Over the course of the next few days, complaints run in to the BBC about the fact that what was obviously an epic drama had just sort of been cut off in its prime, and, you know, that wasn't on. But little did they know that through Martin's quick actions, they'd actually been saved from the same screaming fate of the void as all who had been at Avebury had suffered. Thank you for playing.
Thank you very much. I like the Ghost Watch ending. I think two people here are probably too young to know what Ghost Watch was. It was a Halloween back in the 90s where the BBC did the biggest fucking dick move, but it was so good. Unfortunately, there was some rumors that went around that ended up meaning that they never did anything like it again. They took the two most trusted people at the time, which was Philip Schofield. I'm going to say Sarah Green. I can't remember who the female anchor was, and they were following some of the most haunted places in Britain, including a house that was just in the middle of a street. And it started off just being a little bit boring. They had to bring some local experts in. They had to do all the rest of it. So they made it really believable. And they got it to the point where if anybody hadn't got it by that point that this was fictional, you would have been terrified out of your fucking mind, because the very last thing was no, that's right, it was Sarah Green who was on location, going into the cupboard under the stairs, and basically to never come back out again. And for me, I watched it, and I did get that when lights were coming out from under the fucking stairs, I was like, okay, this is fictional. But because I'd been duped up to a certain point where I was like, oh, hang on, I was actually willing to buy into the fantasy quite deeply as well. So when all of a sudden, you know, the whole thing ended and you could hear the voice over the white noise, I had genuine fucking chills. So yeah, thank you. That was fucking amazing. Love it.
So I think I just would like so Spider, would you just like to explain a little bit about Thee's background, or would you like me to do it?
The only background I know is that I'm a shepherd that has a bit of occult knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Thee's basically was the guardian of the henge. So that's why she had some abilities. Unfortunately, those abilities did not help her in the end. But she was there to try and protect things. Let's find out about Eric, Professor Eric Davenport.
So during the chat about this game, or maybe it was last night on voice chat, I can't remember, I asked Helen the question, very vague question about why I had a specific piece of knowledge in my background, why I needed to be taught this specific piece of knowledge, because what Helen had sent me was that I had been taught blood sacrifices. And I was like, why do I need to know how to do a blood sacrifice? Seems fairly simple to me. Because at that point I had not seen that I had a spell list. So yes, my parents were in a cult, and until the age of 14, pretty much so was I. And lots of bad things happened. Eventually the cult ran into some trouble. My parents died, and my aunt took me away. But it did somewhat scar me as a child, yes. So I've been a bit weird ever since. Plus I know how to do blood sacrifices, you know. What
important things.
What kid doesn't need to know that?
And the moniker Professor, how accurate was that?
Very accurate as far as Eric was concerned.
And in actuality?
And in actuality, no, he was a drone operator. I think he has the skills of a professor. He knows enough to take on that role, should he ever be recognised by any scholastic institution.
I mean, you started at Open University. It's a shame that education's been cut short. Yes. Eric was. So basically, one of the locals who was drunk overheard that the producers were looking for someone to replace the local historian who was sick with COVID. So in their drunken state, they sort of said that Eric was a local historian and bigged Eric up a lot. And in the desperation, the producer went with Eric. The professor thing is entirely Eric's doing.
Well, you said bigged up, so like I was thinking, you know, they probably were like, oh yeah, he's definitely got the credentials. Like they just started calling him professor, and he's not corrected them.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that. I hope it doesn't give you nightmares. I don't think it will. So thank you very much for joining us. Simon, one more session of Halloweek left. What's coming tomorrow night?
Yeah, I decided to do something a little light-hearted to finish up. My kind of serious one was last night, but we had to change it to have less viewers. What we're going to be doing tomorrow is a speed run of D&D that's going to be based around the typical storming the Count's castle. So it's called Out for the Count. Mm-hmm. And the players are going to be rolling up level 7 characters, and they're going to be running a gauntlet in a spooky castle to see if they can get to the vampire at the end and see if they can take him out. It's going to be just completely running the gauntlet. So it's trying to get that dynamic where you don't have to worry about short rests and things. So we're going to throw a few bits of that in. And hopefully at the end they will get to a vampire. And I don't think we've ever done a vampire kill in D&D on Chaotic, so we're going to try for that.
Excellent. And that will start at 8 p.m. tomorrow, which is Sunday evening. In the meantime, if you've enjoyed our particular brand of chaos, come join us in the Discord. If you would like to watch any of the Halloweek sessions that you have missed, then please go to our YouTube channel and you can watch them all again. Yay! And otherwise, I think we will do a raid. Do you mind organising that, Simon? Because I have no Twitch open at the moment.
Yeah, I can do that.
And otherwise, we will rejoin you tomorrow night for the last Halloweek session. Good night, all. Thank you very much. And the others say good night.
See you later. Stick around on the See You Soon screen and we'll go straight into the raid.
Good night.